You know, they don't teach this in school. They don't teach anything about us. In some places it's prohibited. In Tucson next month they're going to have a case to continue implementing the ban on studying our history, our heritage, our culture. In Arizona, not blacks, not Indians, not Asians, Mexicans. We can't do that in the state of Arizona. That trial is in June. Now that's in Tucson. Tucson is the Gadsden Purchase. The Treaty of Guadalupe en Espanol applies there. Not the English one that they excised and cut out what they didn't like. So there's the fight that you all should join. An example. Target your school board. You know, the biggest enemy we have here is the State Board of Education. That group, among many other duties, adopts the textbooks that teachers should use in the classroom. We're not there. We're not there. So until you write your book, we should take over the agency that has the adoption power about those textbooks. Now, it's hard. There's 15 members. That's even worse than trying to run for the Texas Senate or the U.S. Congress. 15 representatives for the State Board of Education in this state. Huge districts. Lots of money. And they all serve with no salary except per diem and expenses. Why would they do that? Why would someone run for an office that's terribly expensive to win and you get no compensation? Because they sit on top of the teacher retirement, they sit on the textbook contracts, they make policy, and that's what we need to do. But you can't take on the state board. Maybe we could work to abolish it. We don't need that. I know we can work on the local school boards. And even if you can't get the book written in time, you can get your school board to tell the superintendent, to tell the principals, to tell the teacher, to tell the curriculum instruction people, you will teach at least one unit about our local history, and that's your story. That's your story. Because if we don't know what it is, how can you ask me to fight for it? You know, community colleges are also elected. And 87% of our kids go to community colleges. They don't go to the four-year school. They transfer there, but they don't start there. And regrettably, about 60% of them don't finish. I come from Brownsville. I've been living in Brownsville. The success rate at Texas Southmost College, graduation, timely graduation, 8%. 90% of the high schools in that region, in the valley, 90% of the kids in the high schools in the valley graduate from high school. 4% are college ready. Why are you sending our kids for failure? Why are you sending them to get a debt that they can't afford to pay the rest of their lives, particularly if they don't finish? That's the worst thing they can do. That's how you can ruin their lives, by telling them to go to college. Because they're not prepared, no capacity, no skill building, they don't know any systems literacy, they don't know how to make the world work for them. And they certainly don't know how to defend themselves. They never have thought about group ascendancy, that we all are in this fight together. Let's leverage, our public education, what we're doing here with learning about ourselves and our culture and our heritage, with political activism, with civic engagement. You can't suffer silently. You can't be polite. You've got to get in people's face and present your issues and your points and insist that they give you space and respect for your point of view. They don't have to agree with you, but they gotta listen to you. Pero somos muy sufridos. Y no queremos faltar el respeto a nadie. Bad mistakes. Take that to Mexico. Write that down as the culture of your great-grandparents. You're here in another culture. If you don't speak up, if you don't look up, if you don't fight back, you get no respect. That's their culture. That's this political culture. Learn it. You don't have to like it, but you got to practice it if you're going to be effective. Last thing, and we just mentioned it, and there's a book in the back. I'm not trying to sell it to you, but it'd be a good idea for you to buy it. I would suggest, in the meantime, why don't you write your stories? Get 2 or 3. We're going to have 2 or 3 families here talk about their land grants. Put those 2 or 3 together if it fits. There is a publisher that writes these photojournals, Arcadia Press. That's all they do. 2 or 3 land grant It's fundraising. Every picture you put in there, they're going to want to buy the book. And you got a story that goes almost 2, 3, 4, 500 years. There's a lot of material. Get your own process going where you're writing your books about your story, because if you don't tell your story, who will? How can you get allies? How can you get support? How can you get even fundraising going if they don't know who you are, what the hell you're clamoring about? They certainly don't have the education from the schools teaching them what you're talking about. So if you don't talk, who's going to tell your story? So those are my 7 points. Well, that's 5. I got 2 more to go. Okay. Now, I already told you, you got to help others that are in the struggle with you, even if it's indirect. President Trump keeps talking about the wall and the fence, but he talks about the wall, but the fence is already there in Cameron County. Pieces in Hidalgo, nothing in Star, nothing in Webb, but all that border area is the land you're talking about. So here they're opening the door again, because they have to go back again to try to get a bigger easement to do whatever it is they're going to do. So you have another shot at raising the issues again. So instead of getting all upset, welcome the fact, well, come on down, bring the surveyors, bring the engineers, bring the landman, and bring all these people, and let's see what the hell you're going to do here, because this is my land. Or you can intervene, Mr. Bahi. They're going to go through all of Kennedy County with Valley Crossing, the pipeline for LNG that they're going to bring from up north all the way down to Centro Veracruz. But they're going to go through Kennedy County, which you say is yours. They open the door again for you to step in. That's a different kind of example. So let's look for opportunities. I told you about the June case in Tucson. That's Tratado de Guadalupe Algo en Español, the article that's still there that says we have a right to our life and our liberty. Well, if that isn't your story, what is? What is your life if it isn't about you and your history and your language and your culture? Okay? So help those that are helping move the agenda. I invited you to come discuss and listen and protest about the massacre 100 years ago, next January 28th. Let's do that. There used to be groups of people who would celebrate the Primo de Hidalgo and Febrero Dos. I haven't heard of a single one. I think that maybe there's still one group in Arizona somewhere that does some sort of conference around that time.
New Mexico.
Is it in New Mexico?
We do it at the state legislature.
That's correct. That's correct.
Every February 2nd.
That's correct.
Roundhouse.
See, we have our own holidays, but we don't celebrate them, or we don't celebrate them enough. Okay?
We commemorate, we don't celebrate.
Leslie, well, okay. Lastly, you know, the Railroad Commission, 3 people, it has got nothing to do with railroads, not anymore. That's where a lot of the oil royalties are there, on deposit in trust. Those people are elected. 3. Every time there's an opening, someone from this group should run. And it doesn't matter whether you're going to win or not. You will eventually. I already gave you the numbers. You know, 1 in 5, 1 in 4, 1 in 3. When we stop being too dumb and too poor and too young, by 2050, those 18-year-olds will now then be like 38. Okay? We do wake up eventually. We do learn a little bit more, even if it's informal. Okay? Run, because you have a public forum. You can educate, you can talk about your issues, you can ask for an accounting, you can talk about the land, you can talk about the monies that belong to you. Run for office, the public forum, it's free. So those are my 7 suggestions, and I'm here with you. Gracias.
Thank you, Dr. Gutierrez. I wish I had your energy. Seriously, we need people waving the flag, right? Planting the flag, trying to get everyone to understand the importance of education and consistency. And I like the idea of running for Railroad Commissioner. Don't be surprised if maybe you see my name on something like that. Next, we're very, very honored to have a repeat speaker with us, Jerry Patterson, a former Texas Land Commissioner. I'd like everyone to understand that's an incredibly important office in the state of Texas. Publishes a lot of very important documents that we rely upon. Mr. Patterson's an advocate for land grant history. He has invested considerable time and expense in creating a documentary, which I'll let him talk about on the massacre, wherein a number of Hispanic men and women, children, ages teenage through 70, were marched off and assassinated by a group of Texas Rangers, civilians, the U.S. Army troops, as it's alleged, and it is reenacted annually. Mr. Patterson will show us a preview of the atrocity. We'll also share his comments on the Galan Land Grant case and his perspectives as a Texas Land Commissioner. We owe Mr. Patterson a great gratitude for his support. We ask those of you who can to please see Paul in the back about contributing a few dollars to Mr. Patterson's cause, and also review the book that Dr. Gutierrez has kindly brought here and took the time to write for us. So without any more interruption, Mr. Patterson,